What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're going to talk about the best things to do in Singapore. We're going to 50 different locations. Let's do it.
That's right, everybody. I came to Singapore with the intention of showing you the very best of Singapore, and I pulled it off, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so here we are at the top of Marina Bay Sands now. This observatory is called SKY Park.
And the ticket price to go up to the top of the Marina Bay Sands Observatory is 32 Singaporean dollars. That comes out to around $23 US. And at the time of making this video, $1 US equals 1.34 Singaporean dollars. And although this list is in no particular order, the observatory up here at the Marina Bay Sands definitely should be at the top of your Singapore bucket list.
What we're going to do now is we're actually going to take the bridge to the Gardens by the Bay from Marina Bay Sands. Let's go over there right now and do that.
The walk over to the Gardens by the Bay is an attraction all in of itself. It's quite amazing to see the tropical scenery around this garden.
And now here we are at Cloud Forest. We're going to go right inside there.
And another top attraction here in Singapore is the Cloud Forest. Adults cost 35 Singapore dollars and children are 20 Singapore dollars per person. What I love about this Cloud Forest is it's air conditioned, it's a very pleasant environment, but very lush, and it's actually considered the Avatar world after the movie and the characters. And inside here, you can avatarize yourself, which we will be showing you a little later on, but definitely add the Cloud Forest to your list.
Now here we are at the new and improved Birds of Paradise. It used to be called the Jurong Bird Park, but now it's 3 times bigger, and let's go see what this place is all about.
This bird park blew me away. I actually had no idea I could enjoy a bird paradise like I did here at the Mandai Wildlife Reserve Bird Park. Ticket prices cost 48 Singapore dollars per adult, 33 for children. Africa, Papua New Guinea birds, so much to see here. Highly recommend. My favorite was the wetlands.
Now here we are in Little India.
And we're moving quickly through this list here, so hopefully you're taking notes at home, but Little India is definitely one of the most culturally rich experiences you will find here. You're definitely going to find that culture vibe, good food, cheap shopping, and friendly people. I would say try to visit here anytime after 1 in the afternoon, but the best time is around sunset because the colors and the vibes. And if you're here during a night market, you can walk around and find some great deals, but really come here for the food. Now here we are at Kampong Glam. This is Arab Street. You also have Haji Lane and you have Bali Street. This is considered a Muslim Islamic quarter. You're going to have lots of Lebanese food, Turkish cuisine, and several other Arabic foods. This is really a nice place to walk around, especially at night. They do have bars and pubs in the area as well. For those of you who are looking for nightlife, you may consider coming down here. They have some cheap souvenir shopping as well.
Now on the far northeast end, or the far east end of Singapore, is a place called Holland Village. It's nearby Queenstown, you could say, but it's really out here in Buena Vista. So we're going to walk around and show you what's going on out here in Holland Village.
Known as an area for creative people to get together and hang out, an incubator for local artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs. Also, you'll notice it is an industrial or commercial area nearby with several factories. So the main stretch of Holland Village is going through Lorong Mambong. Now, something you want to know is that there's going to be many different restaurants, cafes, and tasty street food.
All right, here we are at the Art and Science Museum. Let's go take a look.
Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. You can find tickets here for around 25 Singapore dollars, although it depends on the exhibit. But many of these exhibits change over time, and it truly is art meets science, especially down on the ground level. And I would highly recommend bringing kids here if you're with them because it is sensory overload. It's going to get your creative juices flowing. And I even drew this airplane here, which they allowed me to put on the wall and fly it around. And that's free and that's just part of the immersive experience you're going to find here. Now here we are at CHANGI Airport at the Jewel. This is a free activity that you can do. You can either visit here when you're at the airport. It is on the outside of the check-in counters, although they do have a tram that connects Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 that you can ride, although you won't be able to walk around the waterfall area. But again, this is at the Changi Airport. Along with a spectacular waterfall that drains from the roof, you'll also find shopping on the outside at the mall, as well as multiple decks and levels for you to go up and get great views of this atrium indoors.
Now here we are at PALAU UBIN. This is actually an island in between Singapore mainland and Malaysia. So we're just gonna walk around here and see what's going on.
The boat ride is around $4 Singapore each way, so it's not going to break the bank to come out here. It is the island northeast of mainland Singapore. They're going to have cycling trails, footpaths, wetlands, and many different villages for you to explore, along with several birds like kingfishers and the hornbill may be found here. I would recommend renting a bike because it's a lot easier to get around on bike than foot, because it is a bigger island than you may suspect. They even have campgrounds out here. Now we're headed back to the heart of Singapore. This is the Singapore Flyer, or Singapore Ferris wheel as it's known. The price is 40 Singapore dollars per person to go around in these capsules. It's open from 3 in the afternoon until 10 at night. Obviously, a sunset ride in one of these capsules is probably the best if you can get it. It does book quickly, especially on the weekend, so try to book ahead if you can online.
All right, now here we are at Gardens by the Bay, starting out at SUPERTREE Grove. Let's go inside.
So now that we're back at Gardens by the Bay, we split it up into 2 days because the SUPERTREE Grove is a whole other area to explore, along with the Flower Dome. But going up to the observatory here, great views looking out at MBS, which is Marina Bay Sands, out towards the Straits of Malacca shipping lanes as well. You can also visit the SUPERTREE Grove at night, and the colors out here are quite amazing, so that is an activity, visiting in the daytime and the nighttime. The vibe is different at night.
And up here at the top of the SUPERTREE Grove at the observatory, I highly recommend coming up here. They have a cafe where you can get some beers. Very nice beers, craft beers, local actually. I had one, very nice. But look at this view here.
Walking around the SUPERTREE Grove is totally free, but if you wanted to go to the SUPERTREE Observatory top here, it is 14 Singapore dollars per adult and $10 per child. And as you can see at the tippy top, it is great views all around, 360 degrees. Great photos can be taken from here. So try to get up to the top of here. It's not too crowded either, which I really like. Hopefully after this video it doesn't get any more crowded. Now we're headed to the actual SKYWALK, which is another activity you can do here. It's $12 Sing for adults and then $8 Sing for children. I would say an activity like this, you're going to need around 15 to 20 minutes just to walk the SKYWALK in between the two super trees here. And it is quite exhilarating. That's part of the experience. It's a little bit spooky.
Avatarize myself here at one of these machines. We're going to see what I would look like if I was an avatar.
Yeah, back to that avatar world. Here we are doing the avatarization at the Cloud Forest.
Would I be scared to encounter me as an avatar?
Oh, and another activity right nearby is going to be the Flower Dome. You can skip this one, but if you really love botany and you love plants, you should probably come in here. And the air conditioning works great. I just don't know if the price is justified considering the walk around that you're going to get in this garden. It is quite expensive, but they do have several climate zones and a great deal of biodiversity.
We are at the Marina Bay Sands Mall. We're going to show you around here. There's a casino, a mall, a hotel, and then an observatory at the top. Let's do it.
Now, we already showed you around the observatory, but we haven't shown you around the mall or the canal shops. This is a very expansive, spacious mall. The casino does require a passport to get inside. It's a lot more restrictive than what you would find in Las Vegas, for example. But if you're staying at the hotel and you want a little bit of thrills, you can go there. But for the most part, walking around the canals and seeing the rain oculus is good enough for me. And going over to the food court and getting some food. Very delicious. If high-end shopping and spending a lot of money at department stores is your thing, then you're going to want to check out the Marina Bay Shops, which is right next to the actual canals. As with many of these indoor atrium type experiences in Singapore, they're always going to have some sort of creative art that you'll want to take a picture of or make a video of. Just like in the airport, this mall here has lots of different little attractions like that.
Yeah, so here we are at one of the most popular food hawkers in Singapore.
This one is Lau Pa Sat, right there in the CBD, Central Business District. I got char siu and wonton.
All right, it's late lunchtime. I'm having char siu and pork belly. We got this here at the Lau Pa Sat Chinese restaurant. This is also some wonton soup. Yummy.
And now here we are at Orchard Road. This is probably the ritzy area of Singapore for sure. You're going to see several different malls up and down Orchard Road. But if you really wanted something fun to do, I would say get on one of those double-decker buses, whether it be a hop-on, hop-off bus or just one of the regular metro buses. Try to get the front seat and watch the city go by as you cruise down Orchard Road. You can also walk around here pretty efficiently.
All right, so here we are at BUGIS Street. This is like a market downtown here. We're gonna walk around all the streets, Prince Street, Arch Street, show you what's going on down here, even Dragon Street.
Downtown is a really expensive place, but if you're looking for some bargains outside of the malls, check out BUGIS Street, BUGIS Junction. You're gonna find some great deals on things like handbags, some souvenirs, clothing. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're in the area. And just on the other side of Marina Bay Sands is the Marina Bay Promenade, a nice area to walk around. You're going to find some historical buildings here, as well as some museums. Also, they have cafes and restaurants and some rooftops. This whole area has undergone a major renovation over the last few decades, and it used to be a major historical area that has been completely rejuvenated. And if you follow the river up a bit, you have the RIVERWALK, where you will see some of that old history. And you can follow this along to Boat Quay, Clarke Quay, Robinson's Quay, which we will be showing you some of those a little later. They also have several museums here that you may consider taking a look at. The RIVERWALK has done a good job of maintaining old Singapore. Now you have the Asian Civilizations Museum. This one goes into detail about all Asian civilizations, not just what has happened in Singapore and the development here. So if you're into Asia, stop by here and learn some more about Asia. The price to get in here is 15 Singapore dollars for adults and then 10 Sing for children. But yeah, you could see lots of different artifacts and history to be had here. If you are considering visiting more places in Asia, we did make a top 18 places to visit video about Asia. I'll put a link to that in the description.
Now here we are at the Boat Quay. We're going to take a look at this beautiful area for dining along the river.
Boat Quay is definitely in my top 3 for nightlife in Singapore, if not my absolute favorite. So if you're looking for some good nightlife and some food, hang out around the RIVERWALK. Although I will say the food is a bit expensive, although maybe one night it might be worth it to do some dining down here, or at least taking advantage of happy hour in Boat Quay. But it's really known for its old historical trading activities and nowadays the restaurants.
So now we're going to go explore Clarke Quay, which is another quay along the Singapore River. Let's go.
Clarke Quay is literally a 5-minute walk away from Boat Quay. You just go up the river a bit and wada bing. Where they're going to have more restaurants and dining experiences. Also, the slingshot. This thing is a crazy ride that shoots you through the air. You can do it alone or with a friend. So check this out. Slingshot is an old Clarke Quay favorite that's making a comeback. There are 2 different slingshots here, and the price is around 45 Sing per person. By the way, we did make several Singapore videos, including a things to know about Singapore, as well as a video that's coming up about the top areas. So do check the link description below for those.
Now we're here at the MRT in Singapore. We're gonna ride this
State-of-the-art rail system. It's actually built and developed by a Japanese company, and for those of you who've been to Japan, you know nobody does rail as good as the Japanese, so them building this here for Singapore says something. There is 6 different lines and 140 stations for the MRT, which stands for Mass Rapid Transit. Most of the MRT is below ground around the CBD area.
So we're gonna go on the Singapore River Experience. The ticket's around 28 Singapore dollars.
This is a bit of a historical cruise up and down the river. You get a different vantage point than you would normally get just walking around. It may not be something that I would put at the top of the list, but it's certainly something to do in the evening around Clarke Quay or Boat Quay. They take you down to the Marina Bay Promenade, and then back it takes around 30 minutes.
Okay, so we're headed to Sentosa Island on the Sentosa Express. We've got the tickets. They're 4 Singapore each person. That's round trip. And then we're gonna go to Universal Studios. Sentosa, it's my first time going there. Let's go.
Now, I've been to Sentosa Island about 5 times, but I had never been to Universal Studios, so that was my first time. But I always like taking the tram over from the Vivo Mall to the actual station, so that's something I recommend, but you can easily get here by cable car or taxi even.
Yeah, so here we are at Universal Studios. The tickets are 82 Singapore dollars.
This is a lot smaller Universal Studios than you may be used to if you've been to the one in Japan or you've been to the one in Florida, but it's still a Universal Studios, so you're gonna have fun.
So when you come to Universal Studios, I recommend not coming on the weekend. Right now I'm here on a Sunday and the lines are 45 minutes to 60 minutes long, so try to come on the weekdays when it's not so busy so you can get more rides.
You could consider the Fast Pass, although it's super expensive, and I'm not so sure I'm willing to pay the price they were asking for a Fast Pass, although the lines can be very long, sometimes 45 minutes to an hour just for one ride.
All right, guys, we're here at the Sea Aquarium. Let's go.
The ticket prices vary depending on what kind of activities you're looking to do. If you just want to see the aquarium plus the dolphin observer, prices can go up, but they start at around 63 Sing per person. Here you can expect to see a very large aquarium tank with manta rays and sharks, and a great viewing area on a big piece of glass right in front of you.
Now here we are at the beaches of Sentosa Island.
And some of those beaches are going to include Siloso Beach, which is where we're at now walking around. They're going to have many different activities for you to do here. They also have Palawan Beach. So these are all man-made beaches here on Sentosa, but people swim here, and it's actually nice and relaxing because the water is very calm. Some of the activities you can do while out here are going to include bungee jumping. It's really a crazy activity to do. It used to be called the AJ Hackett. I don't know if it's still called that. I didn't see the AJ Hackett name there. There's also ziplining that takes you from the top of the hill down into Siloso Beach. Looked fun. Now the ticket price to do a bungee is starting at around 51 Singapore, so it's a good price. And if you wanted to do zip line, the prices range from 99 Singapore and up. So it's a little bit more expensive to do the zip line, but both seem very exhilarating adrenaline rushes. Now here we are at another cultural area. This here is Chinatown. The best time to visit is probably in the early evening around sunset. Coming down here, trying out some of the Michelin award-winning restaurants, also walking around the historical areas, just soaking up the atmosphere. Try to aim for Temple Street and then work your way around the area from there. And then next door they have the Buddha Tooth Relic, which is very popular temple here. It is a Buddhist temple and it's beautiful. You'll definitely want to try and take some pictures while here. While walking around Chinatown, if you pause and you read some of the signs, you can learn about the history. This was really a lot going on here as Singapore was developing over time. So try to take some time for you historical buffs to learn about the Chinese experience in Singapore.
All right, guys, so here we are at CHIAT. We're going to the PARANKAN houses, but this whole area around here, you're gonna see some old world Singapore architecture. Let's go take a look.
The word PARANKAN actually talks about the Chinese migrants who came through here. That's who it was called, the PARANKANs, and the PARANKAN houses down here on CHIAT go back to celebrating the history of the Chinese and the migrants that were here. And it's just a very historical old Singapore experience along CHIAT in this area. I actually like coming down here and taking pictures.
Now here we are at the PARANKAN houses on CHIAT in Kampong.
It's just a series of very colorful houses. People come here and take a couple pictures and then they leave, but still it's an iconic landmark to take a picture.
This here is the Singapore National Museum. Let's go check it out.
Now, if you wanted to learn a lot about Singapore, you've got to come here. I actually love this museum. I think it's jam-packed with history and information about Singapore. So if you got some time, spend about 2 hours walking around this great museum.
And this here is CHIMES.
Almost seems like it should be said CHJIMES, but it's just chimes. And here it is, a shopping area. It's got a church here and very ceremonial type area with restaurants. People do weddings here. They also do bachelorette parties. You'll notice that kind of stuff going on in Chimes.
So now we're here at the 70th floor of the Sky Bar, SKAI, at the Swiss Hotel.
Now we're going to take some time to highlight some of the rooftop bars. This one here is Sky Bar. They do events up here. Sometimes it's closed or you've got to wear pants. They have dress code. But if you get to go up here in the evening time for a sunset, eat a meal here, you're going to love it. It does get busy and it books up fast.
All right, now here we are at the Singapore Zoo. We're going to go around here and show you all the animals.
Singapore Zoo is considered one of the best zoos in the world. The average price here is 48 Sing per person. Children 3 to 12 are 33 Sing. Now, something that I will say, my favorite animals here are going to be the lions, because these lions are very active, as well as the orangutans. They have several different monkeys here as well. So lots to see here, and it's one of the best zoos in the world.
Yeah, so here we are at River Wonders, which is right next to the Singapore Zoo. We're going to go around here. They have a ride, and they have my favorite, the pandas.
River Wonders is an additional price on top of the zoo. It is 42 Sing. You can try to save some money by doing the zoo and the River Wonders in the same day. The things that I like about River Wonders are going to be the Amazon River Quest ride, which is like a river safari, and then I really enjoy the panda exhibit, as well as some of the aquariums they have here.
So here we are at the Botanic Gardens of Singapore. They also have an orchid garden that we're going to go check out.
The Singapore Botanical Garden is worth a visit. It does get hot in the daytime from around 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. So try to get here either early in the morning or late in the evening. It is a free activity. There is one thing that you would pay for. It's the orchid garden, and that is around 5 Sing to 15 Sing depending on the time of year and the ticket price. But the orchid garden is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And if you don't know much about orchids, you'll learn everything you need to know here about how many varieties there are and how they can grow in these really unique environments, including right alongside on tree bark. So orchids are a very cool flower in my opinion after visiting here.
And now here we are at the Fort Canning Park.
This is an old British fort, but nowadays it's a park where you can walk around and get some great views, find a tree tunnel, hang out right here in the heart of Singapore City.
So we came over here to the Sour Bombay Bakery right across the street from Fort Canning. Got some donuts.
It's a good snack. I would only recommend having one because if you have two, you might get a food comatose.
All right, guys, here we are at the National Galleries Art Museum. Let's go inside.
Some of this art museum is free exhibits, but then if you want access to the galleries on the upper floors, you're going to need to pay. They do have a rooftop with restaurants that you may consider having a lunch or dinner at. This is an old palace here or government building, so cool history at least.
So local food you need to try here is laksa. It's like a seafood soup. Spicy, like a tomato sauce. A little bit spicy, but not too bad. It's more like a tomato sauce. These taste like a fish, like a ground up fish meat. This tastes like a bread. Like a sponge bread. Yummy. Here we are at the Capita Spring Sky Garden. Let's walk around and see what's going on up here.
Yeah, so this high-rise building with offices has these multi-level gardens. It is a free attraction, although you will need to make a reservation ahead of time for a time slot. Try not to miss it so you don't take up someone else's spot. But it's really cool just walking up the levels of this sky garden, and it's totally free. I was amazed about that. They could easily charge for this. And another rooftop dining experience is Mr. Stork at Andaz Hotel. This has great views as well, so you can see going to these rooftop bars or rooftop restaurants, definitely something to do in Singapore because of the great vantage points you get. It's really hard to pick just one, but as you could see, I did say that the Marina Bay Observatory was probably number one. After that, this Mr. Stork's Andaz Hotel view is quite impressive because it's open air. Now here at the end, I put the Merlion. It's currently undergoing a renovation, but it should be back better than ever when it does come. You probably will want to visit here, although I put it at the end because it's still going under the renovation. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Island Hopper TV from Singapore. There's so many things to do. I keep going back here and I find new things every time I go back. See you guys on the next one, and watch some more of the videos from around Southeast Asia like Bangkok and Kuala Lumpur next.